catcher in the pick ban there, but we'll see if Impunity has something prepared for this J-Team squad. Both teams looking for their first win on the split. One of them will find it here today. Let's take a look as we get on to Summoner's Rift. The rune setup, of course, with the Graves top side, little fleet footwork action.
Yep, fleet footwork coming in onto the Graves adds that extra little bit sustain early on, really to keep up with the Gragas sustain. That'll help him out considerably. And he has the refillable potion as well. So lots of sustain on this Graves pick early on. Now, both of these junglers, I am expecting to really revolve around this bot lane. Konya, of course, as the Diana, looking to try and sneak in a full clear instead of making really big early moves. But once he gets going, he's going to have a lot more options when it comes to approaching the map. But Taco, it's bot lane. It's bot lane or bust.
Yeah, you talked about 3 losing lanes. It's like, well, the bottom one is probably the one that he can turn maybe not into that. Of course, J-Team are going to have full vision of this red buff start because of that ward they put in. But, of course, Impunity know that happened, too. It's not like it makes a huge difference. But, nice to have the information pan out, I suppose. Kongye actually goes ahead and starts off on the chickens first. And that is also being done in full vision of Impunity. So, given the information is kind of gleaned by both these squads and the confirmation there, it does seem like it could be a little bit of a slower start to this game than initially predicted, but I would not be surprised. Normally, you don't want to gank on Diana until like 6 or an item spike, right? I would not be surprised if Kongye just comes out of nowhere and does a level 3 gank. It feels like it's in his repertoire.
I mean, it could happen, but I tend to think not in this case because he is, of course, on the Diana. I would love to see him be set himself up for success, being able to get that full clear, as we didn't get to see that in game number 1. Just absolutely shut out of the game. And Impunity, they don't have the tools to do that this time around in game number 2 of J-Team season.
Yeah, and we were talking about what Impunity could do against, a much tougher opponent on paper, even considering they had lost their first game to a newer squad, a weaker squad in theory. And maybe the Enchanter strategy would have been able to unlock them once again and neutralize Kongye, but they didn't opt into it. Here we go, though. Taco is going to be onto the bottom, so if there's a way for them into this game to try and snowball Blaze, arguably I'd say, their best player on this team from what we have in experience, but he's taking his time about this. They're trying to bait it, but I feel like Krelix might be giving the game away a bit. Yeah, here he comes. Oh, flash play! Okay. That's pretty sweet right there, but I think they're going to be able to get at least away. Taco keeps his eyes on Little B, but the focus was split, and they end up getting neither.
They do burn both flashes, which is going to be nice. And it's not going to be really heavily punished because it is, of course, the Diana, but she will be able to get further ahead here. Oh, Quiet's actually low enough that they can look for a play, look to set up a dive because of how low. And Quiet understands that. He's going to go ahead and just queue up that recall button ASAP. And I mean, it's still a good result coming in from Impunity, being able to burn double flash, but they did take their time. I understand that they wanted that wave to come in first, just so it wouldn't show Taco, but at the same time, I felt like they missed their timing window. If they'd gone a little bit earlier, they would have beat that wave, and it would have perhaps resulted in a better result there.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping them from going back and doing it again, right? Although they did need to burn both of Krelix's summoners just to set that up. And, kind of tipped their hand a little bit here. Obviously, I think Taco should certainly make a return trip ASAP. They have the bottom side jungle lit up a little bit on the ward game at the moment. It should be swept out a little bit by Enzo as he is going through. Doesn't actually catch that one, and neither will Kongye. So, interestingly enough, this is going to be going unsighted as they now ping out Kongye down towards the Raptor camp. And know that Faith, if he steps too far forward, could be in trouble. Krelix running straight to Enzo and Uniboy, but no danger there. So kind of a lot of ships passing in the night at the moment, Nightstar.
And I would say that the slower early game is, theoretically favors Impunity, but it really just comes down to the experience difference, right? In J Team, you have these big names in Kongre, Uniboy, and Lil V. They know how to play these slower types of games. Whereas on the flip side, a lot less experienced. Driver flashing forward.
Speaking of flip side, Driver's hunting forward as he dashes. He needs a few more shots. Can't quite do it. Doesn't have
Blocked
6.
by the minions.
Yeah, not only that. If he had collateral, that's over. And Quiet knows it, but he's playing on the edge and he's staying alive. This is, this is all he has to do as a Gragas. It's still a bit of a head scratcher that he didn't go for a more aggressive champion, but clearly he didn't quite trust what he'd be able to do against Driver. And here comes Kongye. This is going to be the play, and first blood secured. They made it look easy, but meanwhile, down bottom, they get the root off onto the Jinx. Lil V isolated, and that is going to be the cleanup, giving it right over to Blaze, so Impunity take advantage, knowing that the jungler's topside, and they trade right back.
Being able to trade right back there is really, really nice because on that top side of the map, yes, you were able to pull off the dive against Gragas, but it's not 8 minutes yet, which means that there's no Rift Herald to take and really burst this map open. So it's just going to be those 2 plates, which should be traded to a certain degree down in that bottom lane. And even then, you're also going to be able to snag up that Scuttle Crab. So essentially, that Scuttle Crab is a little bit over than half a plate. So gold-wise, it's about even. But overall, J-Team have done a little bit better when it comes to farming, of course, with their advantages in that top and jungle side and being able to clear faster. And that's resulted in them having a 1,000 gold advantage.
They do. Although I do think going for Impunity right now is the fact that the target that they were able to take out is a much higher priority than Quiet. Obviously, he wants to hold on to his lane as long as possible, but, if Blaze can start rolling on the bottom lane and setting Lil V behind, that slows down the scaling factor of J-Team. It speeds up that of Impunity. And, if the game plan is to sit into late game, they will have that window of opportunity. The CS is still pretty dead even at the moment, but again, they managed to do that really, really well. Taco was where he needed to be. Kongye now making a trip down bottom, but look at how safe the Impunity bot lane is playing, and they have the wards to show for it too.
Yeah, they have the wave coming in, and now it looks like they're going to set up for a dive here.
It's a slow one if it happens.
No teleports to help out.
They see this. They know it's coming. They're going to take the Lantern out. Kongye is still going to chase. Uniboy's still here. This is still a full commitment. They dash in. He gets... Oh, the Moonfall on the flash. They are going to go for this commitment. Looking for Blaze, having the damage. It's going to be Enzo.
Oh, Taco gets a kick.
Meanwhile, Taco gets the kick back. Kongye taking the damage. Will get fired back as Krelix ends up with the kill credit. The dust settles. It's a 2-for-1 on the dive.
Yeah, Uniboy makes the roam over as well. That really makes this dive a lot easier. And, I mean, Blaze, we praised him for making that play happen right before, right? With the flash, with the lockdown. But because of that, he has no flash. So he cannot get out of that play. And the really nice force of this play coming in from Kongre, coming in, all flash. And Blaze just wasn't expecting it. Walks up to sneak one more auto in, and that spells the end for him.
Yeah, Lil V also getting Taco at the end, too. Yes, Kongye went down, but you really got to admire Kongye's dedication to getting the kill. He's like...
Driver.
Oh, Driver's dead.
Driver?
He's very dead. Good luck, buddy.
He's going to need a call Uber.
Oh, dear. Yeah. That was a really nice turn there for Impunity. I mean... They're keeping pace really well. They are behind in the gold game, but they are trying to find answers and succeeding at that much more often than not. So, again, the big difference between this Impunity squad of last season and Impunity this season is this team just has so much more team cohesion. The decision-making just seems better. Individual mistakes still happening, but they are definitely making the plays and sticking to them quite well.
Yeah, the issue with last year's Impunity was that it felt like they had a low floor, but also a low ceiling. Here, we've already seen a much higher ceiling, and while there's still a bit of that floor, you'll definitely take it if you get a higher cap as well, and that's exactly what we see here. So now they're going to be able to get more investment into Blaze. This is a fantastic start for this Aphelios. 2 kills. Yes, he has that death, but because they were able to get that kill onto Driver, funnel that into him, and also get all this plate gold, this is perfect. And getting that lane swap also relieves Quiet of the punishment he was receiving in the 1v1.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to hold this lane for long, but I really like the adaptation by Impunity. They know they're not going to win the top lane. They know that the bottom is under a lot of pressure, and look at this. They not only get first brick with the help of Shelly, they even get extra damage on the interior. 10 minutes. I mean, it's like we're back to a lane swap meta almost.
Yeah, it's just speed run as much as possible. And because of how a bit slower on the Dragon focus here, and because of that, it's going to be a very delayed soul. That's going to allow Impunity to just kind of set everything back. They don't have to force a play around this Dragon. That's going to be a key factor here. How much gold can they accumulate coming into one of these Dragon fights, whether it's the second or the third Dragon? Right now, they're still 1,500 gold behind, even after all that investment onto it Aphelios, because Jinx was able to recoup some herself. But that's what this composition is going to boil down to. How well can they play around Blaze, as he is the highest net value on the map right now at 5,400, but Lil V not far off.
Yeah, this is definitely farm diff a little bit up top. Of course, we saw Quiet, getting pushed in quite a lot by the side of Driver, and that is going to be driving a decent bit of that gold difference. Not all of it, though. You mentioned, the gold lead at about 1,500 at this just shy of 12-minute mark for J-Team does mean that they have a little bit of an edge to play with. The Diana has completed the mythic item, so with the
Rocket Belt.
Rocket Belt, excuse me. I was going to say Proto Belt. I'm like, no, that's the wrong season. I'm old, Nightstar. I've been around playing, casting and playing League of Legends for far too long. But that's okay. J-Team are going to take the opportunity to shove this one in the top. Now, Krelix and Faith are here. They have enough to be able to do it. In fact, with the teleport, they're going to be forced away. But they were setting up for that dive. I think Quiet doesn't take that TP, and it's a 3v2 dive.
Yeah, they were most certainly setting up for a dive play, but at the same time, Krelix is going to get caught up.
Oh, dear. Zenith Blade. Wow, okay. That was Pixel away. No, he's still going down. Enzo, kill secured. Lil V would have loved to have that, but Ignite makes the job happen. Kongye, meanwhile, going to find out Quiet, but not going to fight for him. Fight for the honey fruit with him. Lil V will be able to finish this tower, even with Faith trying to laser down the rest of it.
And that's actually really, really important here, because now we have 2 towers worth of turret plates funneled into Lil V, and on the flip side, yes, Blaze has been doing well for himself. We saw him get a lot of gold invested into him, but on even footing, Lil V is going to do more because he has extra range.
Yeah, that's the nice thing, is he has a little bit more range to work with, but also with the gold he's been given, he's been able to get a little bit of an edge in some of the item games. Up until that point, it was pretty much bang on even, as they both fought Gale Forces at around the exact same moment. And yeah, a lot of value out of that laning phase in terms of turret plate secures. Really good plays by J-Team here to keep the gold in their favor, but Impunity, definitely credit where it's due. They've been finding edges, they've been finding chances. This mid lane has been incredibly quiet, but that is about to change as everybody starts to congregate there. I don't know if we're going to get a full-on 5v5, but we're certainly going to be getting some kind of skirmish.
Looks like Impunity trying the NA strat, which is if you don't have anything on the side lanes, just start A-ramming to get mid-prior and hopefully transition that into positioning onto the Dragon. Unfortunately, Dragon is still 90 seconds away, which is the big problem, because even if you do get mid-priority, 90 seconds is a long time to A-ram.
Yeah.
And because of that, those waves, you're forced to respond to these waves on the side.
Yeah. There is a reason it's called the NA ram, for sure. Uniboy will go ahead and pick up a Gourd Drinker, so definitely going for that big old Bruisery Renekton up in that mid lane. And it does seem like the teams will kind of be in a bit of a holding pattern until the Dragon comes on board. So far, we've just had the one Hextech, and this one is an Infernal. A pretty important Dragon for both teams who would like to be involved in team fighting. Taco can only watch as his ward gets cleared away. So vision control, especially throughout this river, currently in favor of J-Team, but they do back away and cede a bit of it. However, looks like mid lane there's a bit of a dance around. Nothing doing just yet.
Be a bit of a dance in the mid lane. Interestingly enough, we do see shield bow coming out from Driver, so he wants to try an auto attack. It's not a great composition to go for the shield bow build because they have a lot of tools to really keep them out of the fights, and when you do go shield bow, it means your spell's not as damaging.
Here comes Kongye. Oh, they got onto Krelix, but they didn't quite have enough on the priority target. He goes golden into the exhaust, and Taco solo as the rocket will finish him off. Lil V is getting excited. That's one. That's two as Kongye finishes off Blaze, and they run away from the Chaos Storm.
Quiet's coming in.
That should win them the Dragon if they can get out for free. Quiet's here a little bit late to the party, and that is going to be it. I think they will try and reset, but it is enough to get this Herald.
They're going to look for Herald instead, as that's going to do a little bit less damage to them as we get to see the replay. It's just Kongya finding an opportunity, flashing forward, and Blaze able to pull off the flash to dodge out, but there's just too much dive at this point in the game against him and not enough power. I mean, the shield bow nerfs hit that item a little bit, but I still think when there's so much of a dive focus, you'd much rather have that extra sustain coming in here, but instead he's going to look for the BT second, I believe. So still getting that healing and shielding, but it's going to be a little bit delayed instead of getting that as a mythic, looking for the legendary.
Yeah. Driver definitely, angling to strut his stuff here, right? I mean, he was on the J-Team bench for quite some time, and now that he's kind of been unlocked, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. But in this game, this front line is really all about Kongye, right? I mean, you got to hand it to him. When he gets a hero in his sights, he just doesn't stop. It's like watching like one of those like really cheesy 80s horror films, like where he just is going to keep coming at you over and over again, and he will not stop until you die. He's like a T-1000.
That's Lil V getting excited as they break that tier 1, and they also secure that Inferno Dragon. It's going to be Cloud Rift, Cloud Soul on the table this game, which will feel nice for Kongya, and really feel nice overall for J-Team because they want to try and team fight or find picks with the extra cooldown on this Leona ultimate, namely. But at this point in the game, for Impunity, you're down 5,000 gold. You're just trying to slow the game down just a little bit here. Still haven't quite been too impressed by Faith. It feels like he's just been out-rotated time and time again by Uniboy on this Renekton. And we need to see Faith get involved here because he's still 0-0-0.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's better than it was last time, but only for a lack of a negative. Yeah, I want to see more out of Faith as well. I feel like the issue here for Impunity, like we talked about a win condition for this team, and it was, we want to see them improve their team fighting. It's obviously a tall order against J-Team, but where they really fell apart yesterday was in the team fight execution. The positioning was a little bit off. Faith was a big part of that. However, they haven't really chosen a whole lot of fights. They've kind of had fights forced upon them. Because Kongye does that. This time he backs away. That's a really great pick by Taco, but unfortunately, the rest of the cavalry is here. Do they have the damage next to finish the job? Kongye is going to try and chase him off. The Chaos Storm does come down. Blaze falls, however, and the rest of J-Team are here to answer. Lil V getting excited. Enzo's going to be able to finish that job, and Uniboy has been unleashed here on the Dominus. And even when they take down Kongye, there is clearly still enough left in the tank. We asked about secondary carries. We asked about other big fighters, and we have our answer, Nightstar, and they're not done just yet. Quest gets caught. Quest is just about going to make it out. Dodges a super mega death rocket.
He'll be able to survive, but I mean, that was all intents and purposes. That was just the end of the game, right? Because you see this double teleports coming in on the backside. There's just no protection for this Aphelios here. Yes, Krelix and Quiet are trying to help him out, but Driver, even though it's not the lethality build, which, by the way, would have just one-shot the Aphelios there, it pretty much... It essentially one-shot him as it took 90% of his health. Now they're going to keep trying to force plays.
Once again, every time the flash is off cooldown, Kongye is going to pop it into the Moonfall. And you can see the rest of Impunity, the moment they saw backup was coming for Driver, they turned tail and ran. Lucky to get out with their lives there, but yeah, as you mentioned it kind of feels like, at this point, it kind of feels like they're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic.
Exactly. Like, if we go back to that last fight as well, one of the big things was Taco kicked Kongye into the team, which didn't help matters at all. It forces Blaze to use the Gale Force prematurely instead of holding on to it a little bit longer. Because of all that pressure that is thrown down onto him, and Faith being in the position where he was trying to get damage onto the backline. That doesn't help his Aphelios at all either. And I understand you want to try and blow up that Jinx to prevent the reset potential from coming out, but your only damage is Blaze right now. You're sitting on a Leandries. When you go Leandries Victor, it has better scaling value, but at one item, definitely not the same value as Blaze, who has all this extra gold over the Victor.
Yeah, this game is moving a little too fast for Faith at the moment. He needs it to slow down if Impunity want to have a chance of getting back into this. As it stands, they're just going to have to hold on and try to ride it out. Issue is, Baron is free, Cloud Dragon is free, every objective on the map at this point, J-Team kind of own if they want it. You can see Impunity are trying to get vision around the Baron pit, but it's like, even if they do see it happening, I don't think they can contest it. Lilvi just, he's on the front line. Yep, here we go. Barrel's going to pop him. This is the opportunity, but he misses on the body slam, and Kongye seizes the opportunity. Faith just barely inches away with his life. They are trying for this
Blaze
one.
has to do
and
it all.
they do take down Kongye. Can Blaze get this done for his team? Faith in the back trying to stay alive. His Beauty Boy is actually pushed away. They have a chance. Taco's here. They got to collapse. They got to do it now.
Taco.
Oh, they just can't get the damage, Nightstar.
Oh, and one of the big problems is that they don't have the ability to really chase afterwards. They use all those cooldowns to try and keep Blaze alive. This time around, Uniboy's not there because he doesn't have the teleport to instantly join. So by the time he gets to that fight, Blaze is able to actually output damage. Now Lil V will get that large wolf denied. Small victory for Taco in that instance.
You take what you get.
And I mean, Impunity, credit to them, they're showing a little bit of fight here. And also, having Faith being able to provide a distraction for Blaze helps out quite considerably. Krelix almost forced to try and bail out his jungler, but Uniboy denies that little extra piece of vision.
Yeah, that was one of those close calls right there for Taco, and he held on to it. A lesser jungler would have blinked, but not Taco. Yeah, I definitely want to give credit to Impunity for continuing to fight. I mean, it's a bad situation. They need to bide as much time as possible, and they're doing everything they can. This is not last year's Impunity, where things would have kind of imploded a little bit at this point. They are still making plays. I mean, there is some team cohesion here, but you're right. Like I feel like the drafting kind of hamstrings them a little bit. Like, there's only so much they can do in terms of comeback. This Victor hasn't really been able to do much because he's played so slowly. Blaze is definitely the one that they're putting it all on, but it didn't have to be this way, right? Like, Gwen was open this entire pick ban. Quiet could have had a kill champion, but no, he's just Turbo Chem Tank Gragas. Why?
Oh, it is a little bit sad to envision the possibilities
I know
that was given to them. And also
PCS what if.
Yeah. And also Krelix going for the Shrelias. Yes, it's a little bit extra utility, gives move speed to Blaze, but in this case, you'd much rather have the Locket of Iron Solari, because where's the main damage coming from? It's coming in from Enzo augmenting the damage of Kongye, right? You get the extra Leona passive damage, that's magic damage. Along with Kongye's ult, that's magic damage. What does Locket give? A magic damage aura. And also a shield, so it would have been, in my opinion, a lot better purchase for Krelix to try and keep his AD carry protected, but now they are starting Baron, and it's going to come down to a Taco steal to try and keep this game alive.
Taco has had some pretty impressive plays, and if he can kick Konge out of the pit, there's a possibility. But of course, with the flash on, with the ult on, it is going to be tough to try and fight into this one. They may just end up getting the Baron but losing their lives. J-Team do peel away, and that's kind of the best-case scenario.
Yeah, it is going to be nice for Impunity that the side of J-Team decided to let them go. More like one of those officer, I mean no harm moments, and they let him just walk.
Put the Baron down and walk away slowly. Nobody gets hurt.
Oh, okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Impunity, they'll be able to hold on to this 10k deficit for the time being. Hopefully able to get one more item for Blaze. That's going to be the big thing. It looks like he's pathing towards the Infinity Edge, which is an interesting purchase here because look at the items coming in. You already have Azania's on in the hands of Konya. You have a Randuin's in the hands of Uniboy. Like there's already yeah, there's so much armor built up. It's going to be very difficult for him to fight front to back. He pretty much has to flash into the back line to try and kill this Jinx or the Graves.
Yeah, that's going to be a little tough too. And not only that, he has to watch out for the constant threat of Konge, who is just going to be gunning for him constantly. And you know, all this is while Faith just doesn't have enough damage. So they have stalled the game just a little bit. They're actually going to start the Baron themselves. This is really bold. But look at where Driver and Konge are without teleport. Well, Driver has teleport. He's actually going to stay in lane. They cannot do this fast enough. They
want to force the teleport. That's all it is. Once that TP comes in, they're going to try and peel off. In fact, they're just going to try and peel off right now. And I assume they're just going to bait as long as they can.
Driver's calling their bluff. He's just on the tower at the moment.
This is a perfect setup for a Diana ult as well.
Yeah, they put the box down preemptively. The rocket comes out. That's a lot of damage. They may not need all 5. There's the teleport. They're going to start the fight. In goes Konge. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to get a little bit of damage here. Meanwhile, Driver on top of things, looking for the play. It's a very messy fight, but it is Impunity just getting blown to smithereens. 3 killed, almost 4. Kralik staying alive, but not for long as Enzo finishes the job. And now Quiet, not the last man standing, because that is going to be Faith, and he might just get away, but not if Uniboy has anything to say about it. Well, we talked about it being GG, and I think it truly is now.
Yeah. Not sure about that Baron call, as Baron Nashor is still slain, but it's not by Impunity.
Yeah, that's the real key takeaway there. Man, Uniboy, very tanky. So J-Team get literally everything. Yeah, it was a nice try, Impunity. You got the teleport, I guess.
Yeah, they did get the teleport. That was their goal. But with your 10k gold behind, forcing the enemy teleport doesn't change anything.
Well, they're losing 4v5 here.
Yeah, they were already taking so much damage from the Baron, right? And yes, you had a nice play coming in from Taco, kicking out the Diana, but the fight's already over before Koya even gets involved anyways, so it's just Impunity making desperation plays a little bit too early in my opinion.
They could have waited a while there. I mean, yeah, they were going to have to deal with their bottom lane for a while, but yeah, now things are going a little crazy. In the aftermath of that, Taco does get the kickback. That is clutch onto Lil V. It's going to slow down the push for just a moment. Really nicely done, but you needed that to happen so much more earlier. Even without their AD carry, J-Team just continue crushing into the base.
Yeah, a nice play coming in from Taco. He finds a key target, but the cost of that target, well, inhib tower, I mean, tier 2
objectively, it's a great play. But also, J-Team don't care because they're so far ahead.
Yeah, the cost wasn't exactly worth it for them. It's at least a feel-good moment. Maybe the morale comes back a bit here, boosts them up to make one more last stand. But 15k deficit, that's numerically a very difficult lead to overcome.
That is one way to put it. Let's take a look at that play one more time. It was very pretty. The barrel kind of whiffs here. For quiet.
Force
but
is the Gale Force.
Taco is like, no. This is, I don't care if we lose this game. I'm getting a highlight reel moment.
Yeah. I need to make a reel, buddy. So
someone clip that, please.
Yeah. So sorry, Lil V, you're the sacrifice here.
Yeah.
And well, Lil V is just saying, well, we pretty much get your entire base, so
yeah.
I guess it's worth.
Hey, nice start. Victor's got Shadow Flame. All right, just saying.
Yeah. I will say Shadow Flame's probably not the purchase to go for when you're going for a Leandri's build, but it is an item that he completed, and it's probably their best spike to try and get back into the game here.
Maybe a desperation fight. Baron's off.
They need
Krellix
one
is
more
actually
pick.
gonna. Ooh, he popped the Shirelias, but didn't find anything. It just kind of scared him off. I feel like they need a pick here. Driver's a little too fast.
This has to be the last stand.
They got to go for it right now. It is go big or go home as the towers are just getting demolished by the Jinx, but they're not hitting the go button. Impunity, they have to make a choice, but that's being made for them right now as they lose Krellix. It's a 5v4, and in goes the massive Uniboy. Taco trying to find a kickback, not going to do a damn thing here as Jinx gets a triple, Jinx gets a quadra, and with the wipe, they will secure the victory. J-Team 1-1.